Hello and welcome to The Natural Way of Life. Today I am bringing you the first of some new type of videos that I am going to be doing. Now these all have a focus on numerology, and the start of these will be celebrities or people in the public eye that I have been drawn to focus on their energy and their life, and those that are on a similar path to myself, with their life path being master number 336s. So their life path is meaning basically their life purpose. So this video will be great for fans of those that I'm studying, so like with this one, Kerry Katona fans, but also those who have an interest in numerology and are on a life path 6 journey themselves, or a 336 journey too. Now, just before I get into this, I want to explain just briefly how I work. And everything I've done, I have tried to channel this and present this in the best way I can, and for the highest good, obviously, of Kerry, because this is her energy. Although it is public information, I just want to tread really gently and compassionately as well. So firstly, if you're new to numbers, numerology is one of my spiritual tools. I love it and I love working with it, and it's highly accurate. Now, numbers are the language of the universe, and they are a tool to help us here on earth, a spiritual tool. They're not to be used in a harmful or manipulative way, which I do see a lot of online. So just be wary of where you're absorbing your information from and where you're learning from. As I believe things should only be used for people's highest good and to help them in a healing way. Now, all numbers hold dual energy. So to every number, there's a higher energy and a lower energy, and it reflects that negative and positive polarity. So when we talk about the numbers, remember, this is the potential within the numbers. Someone may be on the higher energy side of that or the lower energy side. And those numbers reflect that potential, and as well with that, we always have our divine free will, our spiritual mindset, our life, our circumstances, where we brought up, our upbringing, and those all have an effect on the vibration as well that we operate in. People in different sides of the world, for instance, are going to have maybe similar or the same numbers, but could be very different. And again, these are potential. So obviously as well, my methods of calculating, I do them in a very, for me, an effective way, because I look at every single number, because every single number is relevant. That's why I recommend people that are interested in this again, just be careful, because a lot of information reduces things down and they miss out vital key information that is highly accurate. So on this time that we're here on earth at this time, I believe more and more souls are being called forward to help healing humanity in some way. Hence, some of the systems, some people believe master numbers are only, can be created only through one system. However, there are multiple systems to calculate in numerology. So it's about being open to them all and realizing that there are potential, and many people have potential within those energies. So all numbers in someone's chart are highly relevant, and I will try and go into as much detail as this as possible, but I will be doing so much more content. So with Kerry, she is being in the public figure now, like she's been in the public eye for years. So she's a singer, a musician, TV and media personality, an author, a public speaker, presenter and model, as she says in her own words, an entrepreneur. Now, in this video, I've tried to put together some images of her that I was drawn to and liked. Obviously, I don't have social media, guys, so I was only limited to certain ones that I could find. Now, to start with, Kerry is born on the 6th of September 1980. Okay, so being born on the 6th gives her more of that 6 energy. And the 6 energy, which is also running through her life path, is all about matters of family, love, responsibility. It's also about healing that third eye chakra, the intuition, your 6th sense. Now, I do also relate numbers to the energy points within the body, which are also known as the chakras. It's also about confidence, ego, creativity, and personal power. That double 3 energy is a vibration like no other. Okay, it's a really high healing energy, also known as master healer, master teachers, which I'm sure, like I have studied her life and things she's been through in her life, and it really shows on a higher level spiritually that whether she realizes this or not on a conscious level or not, but just through her being so open and sharing about her life, that is having a healing effect on, I believe, many people. The 33 energy is so unique, and it is a super emotional energy and super powerful. So I feel many people that have that 33 energy, we often draw in a lot of people that can actually be quite toxic and draining in our lives, and we have quite difficult lives because we have such a healing energy field. Many troubled people can be drawn to that and take from our energy. And it's about learning to give to ourselves, learning to actually have self-love, which also holds a 6 vibration too. So there is so much I want to talk about in this video, and so much that is relevant. So with the calculations, as you can see here, before I get to the 6, we get the 33, and that's what's really important, because that's what changes that 6 vibration, because there is that master element to it, which is a master energy is so different. Like, there will be a knowing in that person that they are here to do more on earth. They will probably find there are many challenges, extreme highs and lows throughout their life. 33 is also a huge and significant age and turning point for Kerry and others on that journey. So if you are a 33/6, look back to the ages of 33 and also age 30, because there will be some significant things that happen during your life at those points. So with there being a huge, focus on family, matters of the home, responsibility, communication, expression, and truth, their purpose is to be here to heal. Now, that doesn't mean that everyone with this life path is going to be some kind of energy healer or spiritual healer. Healing can happen in so many ways. For example, Kerry has produced multiple books on her life and her journey, and I believe by that being public and reaching millions of people, I've even read them myself, and I'm partway through her most recent one, Whole Again. I have found that so healing just to read her words and to realise, you know what, when we go through things, we're not alone. That others have also been through these highly traumatic and challenging times and events in their lives, and they've made it through. And another thing to note on that, with having, these master numbers as your life purpose, also showing up elsewhere in your charts. But what that's really about is, because when we come here to Earth to learn, lots of our life lessons we learn are because of the mastery. Because to help other people, if you're a master, those master numbers, you have to teach from experience and not something we learn from a textbook. So our lessons are our best teachers. And in Kerry's case, this is exactly true. And that's why we go through these hardships, to learn then to be able to help others. So that is part of that mastery. So a lot of things I believe that have happened in Kerry's life aren't necessarily down to bad karma or anything she's done wrong. They are actually part of this unique journey she's on as that master healer here on earth, with that master 33/6 energy. So Kerry started out with a very troublesome childhood, which is public knowledge in her books. She witnessed a lot of traumatic and abusive things in her childhood. She was constantly moving home, didn't have a connection with her biological father, and experienced things and saw things no child should ever have to see, and had to go in multiple different foster homes, and a very rough upbringing and start to life, which I feel many people, again, on that master life path, will have some type of issue in their upbringing, something with their caregivers. And in Kerry's case, it was almost like her mother being her caregiver. It was almost like Kerry was the mother to her mother. And I too know how that feels in childhood. It's like we almost feel like we're the parent, even though that's their parent. You know what I mean? It's a really unique setup there. And her mom had a lot of mental health issues again, really, really severe. And Kerry was such a support and help to her. Now, one thing to realize with that sixth energy is that is your sixth chakra, your third eye chakra. So a big focus on that is not only the sixth sense, that foresight and insight, but it's also about your mental health and your mental well-being, and you're here to heal that in yourself and others. So not only has that also been a big theme for her in her life, her mental health, it's also a huge theme I feel with a lot of people she has attracted, or a lot of people that are in her life, is it's that healing the mental health side in others and yourself. Now, she's been very outspoken over the years about her own mental health battles, which is another reason I was really drawn to do this video about her, because that's something I too have struggled with, and I feel many people on this 6 path or 33 life path, that will be a huge theme for you too. So she did have a very difficult upbringing, but she then rose to fame, and she did speak about in one of her books being quite young, I'd probably say, early teens, and she did actually meet a psychic who told her she was going to be a star, and I think that stuck with her. And she says herself she's always had this feeling of wanting to be loved, and that is part of that sixth energy. So becoming famous, being in this amazing, incredible girl band at such a young age, that had international success and brought her all that fame and money, and that's huge. And again, it was because of that wanting to be loved, because she didn't have that growing up, not in the right way, not from a father figure. And again, going then forward in her life, which she openly speaks about in her books, is a lot behind the troubles and difficulties in a lot of these toxic and abusive relationships that she was in, which again, if we look on the flip side of that sixth energy, it is all about love, family, responsibility, marriage. Sixes, we want to be loved, we are loving, but sometimes that need for love can draw us then into the wrong places to receive it. So it's really interesting to look at that. And, please feel free to share in the comments as well if this is resonating, or if you're finding this helpful. So there are other numbers in her chart that do explain certain things in her life, but a few things I'm going to touch on. So for her, family, her children, that's always been a huge focus. She, even when she was younger, won twice. It was like a Mother of the Year award, like a celebrity Mother of the Year award. Twice she won that. I think a sixth thing as well is, like, sometimes we can trust in the wrong people and have those rose tinted glasses on almost. So that does make it hard when finding someone. And I think her first true love that was in the public eye, she got hurt, cheated on, lied to, and those things can really, really affect us. And having that double 3 energy as well can make us highly, highly sensitive, not only sensitive to our own feelings and energy, but to the feelings and energy of others. She's also openly spoke about throughout her life of feeling suicidal, which I've written on here on the screen, which you should be able to see at this point, and that also holds, which is no coincidence, a 33 vibration. If you add that up in numerology, that equals 33, and I can speak for that myself as a 33. That has been a theme through my whole adult life, is feeling suicidal. So there are some things that are just written in our destiny or in our numbers, so to speak. She has also openly spoken about having been diagnosed with bipolar disorder, which I think for a lot of people on the 6th life path, 33 life path, because you experience these extreme highs and lows, that is your energy. And if we don't have enough physical grounding in our physical body, because we have a lot of that higher energy going on spiritually, it's finding that in between, which can, in a lot of cases lead to those extreme highs and lows. She's also openly spoken about bipolar, I've said bipolar, ADHD, anxiety, and I know as well it's been quite open that she's had a lot of health issues too, So a lot of health conditions, a lot of problems in her body, you know, whether that be like her stomach area too, which is that 3 area. I think she's also mentioned dyslexia too, which again is connected to, you know, your eyes, your 6th chakra. She's had eye surgery. Even just recently, she spoke out about how doctor has told her nose is collapsing. Her nose, again, the nose, eyes, ears, pituitary gland, the brain, that's all connected to that 6th chakra. So that's showing there's some real work that needs to be done on balancing that area. So if she hears this, Kerry, all I can say is please get some energy healing. It will be so beneficial to you. Another 6th thing that's, you know, very kind of common is addictions. Yeah, so substance abuse, to escape the reality that we're in because it is too painful to exist in the reality that's happening. It's really common for substance abuse to happen. She has publicly had that happen too. She's had a battle in her younger years with cocaine and the addiction to that, and drinking and that unhealthy lifestyle. But again, I want to share with you, it's no coincidence. It was written in her destiny. Her first name, Kerry, adds to 32, which is a 5 energy. Cocaine adds to 32, which is also a 5 energy. It is no coincidence. It is written in her numbers that would be a battle that she would have to master and go through. And again, by openly sharing these things, she's had numerous TV shows. She's been on TV throughout her whole adult life, all her books, her singing, her work. That is healing, okay? Whether someone's listened to her music, read her books, that will be providing them with some type of healing. And that is what that Master Energy 33 is about. It's about putting that healing out into the world where it is needed. And through her own life lessons, that has then provided healing to hundreds of thousands, millions of other people. So it is incredible how it works, because sometimes people think with this unique energy that it can only happen in a certain way. But touching the hearts of others, whether it's through a song you've written and people listen to, they could be listening to that at the darkest point in their life, but you just bring them that little bit of love and hope through. So it is incredible how it works. Now, with this 33 energy, it can bring in extreme highly confidence, but also extremely underconfident, self-doubting, perfectionist tendencies, you know, never been happy with ourselves or our body or how we look. And she has done numerous fitness things over the years. And I would say, and I think I heard a quote, you know, about this in an interview, you know, a lot of insecurities and not accepting or loving her body, hence why she's had so many surgeries and all these different transformations, because she's not having enough self-love or acceptance of her body and herself, which is really, really sad, and it's quite heartbreaking. But I've seen that with a lot of people with these same numbers, that they can really do some quite radical things through not accepting themselves. And because they're so sensitive as well to others' energy, their own, it makes it a really hard path to walk on. Now, to talk about her age turning points too. So around ages 30 and 33 were really significant for her. And she did, I think it was probably, I'm going to just get my calculation to double check. So I think it was around age 30, 31 that she separated and divorced her second husband, Mark. He was known also to be a cocaine dealer, and, you know, obviously was not helpful to her during that addiction time that she was in then as well. They did have 2 children together, but that would have been a really difficult time for her. And I believe that she also went through around near enough her age turning point of 33 too, which was also a universal 6 years. So she was in the spotlight. She went through a second bankruptcy. But just before 33, she also met back up with George, who she talks about in her most recent book, which was a really toxic and abusive relationship that she got into. And I would say that definitely was peaking around 33 at that age for her. I won't go into all the details on here because you can find it in her book, but that was really traumatic, and she has been through so much. And she also then found out she was pregnant at 33, and then at 34 had their child together. So he also suffered a lot of mental health issues and had a cocaine addiction and problems. And, you know, again, her not leaving him straight away, I think ties into a lot of that six energy, feeling responsible for others, wanting to make things work, wanting to have that family, not wanting to be alone with her kids or another child without a father in their lives. So many themes of that, I think, showed up throughout her life. I think 2013 for her also, or around that kind of point, was when her group Atomic Kitten, they were reunited and did a lot of tours too. Now, as I did mention, having that six energy is like you're healing your third eye chakra in yourself and others. So I think George was a good example of this too. So not only was she being constantly physically, emotionally, and I would say as well spiritually abused by this man too, she was dealing with his mental health and his addictions, as well as having to battle with her own mental health, provide for them all, and her 5 kids, which is so much for one individual to take on. Now I'm going to read a short clip from her book, page 63, which talks about some spiritual issues, I would say, with this George. And she says he had a foot in the dark side and he used to practice black magic. He was obsessed with the occult. I remember when we were living in Chinnor, George was messing with dark forces. I used to find these dead flies in the bathroom all the time, hundreds of them scattered all over the floor. We'd hoover them up and then a couple of days later they'd be back. Now that alone is enough to freak anyone out, but later I found out George was practicing black magic in that same bathroom. I have no idea what it entailed. I don't want to know. All I know is it brought with it inevitable bad luck. Strange things started happening in the house, creepy, unexplained things that scared me so much we had an actual paranormal investigative team come out. Max, which is one of her sons, her youngest, was still being really naughty. One day I caught him trying to tie curtains around his neck, which really freaked me out. How would he know to do that at that age? Another time I thought I saw Lily walking through her bedroom. Only Lily was at a sleepover that night. And then one day George woke up and half of his face was paralysed. We later found out he had Bell's palsy, a temporary condition which causes weakness to one side of the face, making it look as if you'd had a stroke. I tell you what, I must have Bell's palsy all over my body. The amount of fucking times, excuse the French, I kept sleeping with him. I was that weak. There was too much darkness surrounding us. I was starting to think a spirit was in the house possessing us. So when these paranormal people came in, they brought a spirit box with them, which is a piece of equipment that allows ghosts to communicate with you. Turns out there was a ghost called John haunting the place. John told us that he was the one who'd done that to George's face, and he was after my son. He wanted Max out of the house, and that was why the boy had been playing with the curtains that time. Suffice to say, I was freaked out. We saw pictures of the demon's face, weird shapes and flashes. We saw a huge orb above DJ's head. We had even heard John's voice, and it scared the shit out of me. A medium came in and blessed the house. She demanded John leave, and to a huge relief, it appears he did. Despite the exorcism, life in the house continued to be unhappy. So while I was satisfied that they'd banished John, the doubt remained. Maybe the little bastard was still lurking because things kept going wrong after that. So and just to put this as well. So George loved a strong connection with the dead, and she found out he was still doing more black magic, and he referred to her as his devil angel while practicing spells in their bathroom. And she was convinced the Bell's palsy was a result of him messing with the occult. So you can see, just even from that one account in her book, how traumatic that is. And again, that's like a huge third eye wake-up call. Like, I believe she was probably under definitely spiritual attack from this man, but also what people need to realize as well, which is so important when you have master numbers or just for any individual, but do not drugs and alcohol just completely lower your energy field and your aura, so other entities of a lower vibration can come in and affect your life and your home. And he was, high on cocaine all the time and then dabbling in that is like a recipe for a disaster. So I do feel like that would have had a huge mental effect on her too, which is just so traumatic for her and her family. So my heart does go out to her, but some more advice I would recommend is really looking at strengthening and protecting your own aura and energy field, because people with 33/6 energy have a really strong and bright energy field. It's different to most other energy fields. Like, you'll be more attractive to spirits and the spiritual realms, but that can work both ways, the higher stuff and the lower stuff, and also to quite difficult people. So like in this case with this relationship she was in with this individual, he would have been an energy vampire on her, drawing from her energy. So he wasn't just physically taking her finances, living off her, but as well he would have been using her energy to get what he wanted in life, which would have left her completely depleted. And it's like a really, really negative situation to be in. I mean, she talks more about that. She did eventually manage to, be able to leave him, and I think had to have a restraining order against him, because honestly his violence and abuse was horrific. And, she does also speak about, just going to point it out again, that the amount of time she had black eyes from him, the beatings. But funnily enough, how funny is that? As a 6, it's not funny, but I'm using that expression, it's always her eyes that seem to take such the battering. And it's almost like I feel like, and I get the shivers when I say this, is like, her intuition was really trying to come through and literally wake her up, to get her out of that situation. And then it coincides further down the line to fast forward when they were both 39, which, if I get my sheet on here, in 2019, that is actually when he did take his own life through suicide and a cocaine overdose. But 39 would have been another turning point for Kerry and those on a 6 life path. 39 is also quite a significant time, and unfortunately for her, I feel like a lot of these turning points have been quite, as we said before, the duality of the numbers, they've definitely been on more of that challenge side of these energies for her. But that is again often down to that mastery of the life path. She's mastering a lot of things that then she can then share out, I guess, into the world to help others from healing. Now, I also just want to make a note that the time she was made bankrupt, she does talk about this openly on other platforms and blogs, but that was, again, she does say, from trusting the wrong people who stole from her and abused her trust, because she was a millionaire. The things she owed weren't that much, but through trusting in the wrong hands, and I think as well giving away responsibility to others, and trusting in the wrong people, which again has been a huge theme for her. But again, I want to make this point that this 33 energy is so, I could just do so many videos, I could write so many books on it, because it's one of a kind. But no matter how many times and what she's been through, these such highs and such lows, she's still here. She's still a millionaire. She's still doing everything she can to provide for her family and her children, and that has always been her key focus. And her sole kind of goal in life is to provide for them and to give them the life, I guess, she never had. So that's always been her drive behind it. So, I just want to, I've raised quite a few points in this. I feel like I could probably do way more of a video on it, but just to send her out a lot of love and a lot of healing. And I hope that on her path and her journey, she's been incredible. I think she's helped and inspired so many people. And she is an inspiration to a lot of women, and also a lot of people that have struggled with their mental health, or difficulties with their, maybe the children, partners, marriages, relationships. And I think a lot of people will actually relate to her, and we have to thank her for her truth and realness, whether people gravitate towards her or not. She's blooming well open and honest. So I've loved it. But to thank her, I guess, on a higher level, a spiritual level, thank you for letting me read into your energy, and I hope this makes a lot of sense, and I hope those that are watching it, and I look forward to bringing you more videos and more content similar to this, to show how we can learn from others and how the path looks different for everyone, but there will still be those key themes and elements that are relevant to those walking that 33/6 life path. Keep grounded, keep a strong spiritual practice, focus on your health and nutrition and learning to love yourself and give to yourself before you give to others. Thank you so much for watching. Sending lots of love to everyone. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thank you so much, guys.